The full moon hung heavy in the sky, a watchful eye casting long, eerie shadows through the dense forest. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, but a strange tension lingered beneath. A twig snapped in the distance, an owl hooted, its mournful cry echoing through the stillness. This was the Navajo Nation, a land steeped in ancient stories and whispered legends. And tonight the silence seemed to hum with an unspoken warning. This was the territory of the Skinwalkers. A shiver ran down my spine. I'd come here seeking answers, drawn by tales that had haunted me since childhood. Stories of creatures that could take on the form of any animal, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Were they merely folklore, meant to keep children close to the campfire? Or did something truly lurk in these shadows, something ancient and powerful? I was determined to find out. The Navajo people call them Yi Naudlushi. With it, he goes on all fours. These are the Skinwalkers, malevolent witches who have chosen a path of dark power. They are said to be the most feared of Navajo spirits, capable of assuming the shape of any animal they desire. Wolves, coyotes, even birds. No creature is safe from their mimicry. But their power comes at a terrible price. To become a Skinwalker is to embrace a path of evil, to turn one's back on the sacred traditions of their people. The Skinwalker's power is not merely one of illusion. They are said to possess superhuman strength and speed, able to outrun a horse and kill with a single blow. Some whisper that they can even control the minds of animals, bending them to their will. But their most terrifying ability is their gaze. It is said that to meet a Skinwalker's eyes is to invite death or madness. The legend of the Skinwalkers is deeply unsettling, but it is not unique. These tales of eerie, supernatural beings have been whispered around campfires and passed down through generations. Across cultures and throughout history, stories of shape-shifting creatures abound. They are found in the myths and legends of nearly every civilization, from the ancient Greeks to the indigenous tribes of the Americas. From the werewolves of European folklore to the kitsune of Japan, humanity seems to share a primal fear of these creatures that blur the lines between man and beast. These beings, often seen as harbingers of doom or protectors of sacred places, have a significant place in our collective psyche. But what if these legends, as disparate as they may seem, share a common thread? A thread that weaves through the fabric of time and space, connecting different cultures and epochs. A thread that leads back to an ancient time, to a race of beings spoken of in hushed tones and forbidden texts. The Nephilim. These mysterious entities are often depicted as giants, towering over ordinary humans. The Nephilim are mentioned in the Bible, described as the sons of God who mated with the daughters of men, producing a race of giants. Their existence is shrouded in mystery and controversy, with many interpretations and theories. Their story is one of transgression and divine wrath, culminating in a great flood that wiped them from the face of the earth. This cataclysmic event is echoed in various flood myths around the world. But what if some survived? What if their bloodline continued, hidden in the shadows, influencing human history in subtle and profound ways? Could the Nephilim, with their unnatural power and corrupted bloodlines, be the source of the shape-shifting legends that haunt our collective unconscious? These questions linger, inviting us to explore the boundaries between myth and reality.
The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the rugged landscape, painting the desert in hues of orange and purple. I sat with a group of Navajo elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of generations, illuminated by the flickering flames of the campfire. They had agreed to share their stories, tales passed down through their families for centuries, stories that held the weight of history and the chill of the unknown. One by one, they spoke of strange encounters in the wilderness, each tale more unsettling than the last. A rancher described seeing a coyote with glowing red eyes watching him from the tree line, its gaze piercing through the darkness. A young woman recounted a terrifying night when she heard something heavy pacing outside her window, something that moved with an unnatural grace, as if it were gliding rather than walking.
Each story was different, yet they shared a common thread of fear and unease, a sense that something was always watching, always waiting. These were not tales told for entertainment, but rather for survival, for understanding the dangers that lurked in the shadows. These were warnings, whispered reminders of the darkness that lurked just beyond the firelight, a darkness that was always present, always hungry, The elders spoke of the Skinwalkers with a mixture of fear and reverence, their voices hushed as if the very mention of the name could summon them. They were not to be trifled with, not to be spoken of lightly, for to do so was to invite their wrath. To do so was to invite their attention, to draw their malevolent gaze upon oneself, a gaze that could see into the very soul and bring forth one's deepest fears. Section 5, A Bridge Between Worlds, Skinwalkers and the Nephilim Connection. The stories of the Navajo elders were chilling, filled with tales of transformation and dark magic, but they also sparked a new line of inquiry, a quest for deeper understanding. Could there be a connection between the Skinwalkers and the Nephilim, those enigmatic beings of old? Both were said to possess extraordinary power, abilities that defied the natural world, a blend of the human and the supernatural, a fusion that was both fascinating and terrifying. Both were shrouded in secrecy and fear, their legends passed down through whispers and shadows, their true nature a mystery that eluded even the most dedicated scholars. The Nephilim, according to some interpretations of ancient texts, were the result of a forbidden union, a blending of divine beings and humans, creating a race of giants and heroes. Could the Skinwalkers be the remnants of this ancient bloodline, their powers passed down through generations, their abilities a legacy of that ancient union? The idea seemed far-fetched, yet the more I researched, the more I delved into the myths and legends, the more intriguing the connection became, weaving a tapestry of mystery and power. Both the Nephilim and the Skinwalkers were said to be masters of disguise, able to change their forms, able to blend in with humans while harboring a dark secret, a hidden truth that set them apart. Both were associated with forbidden knowledge, secrets that were not meant for mortal minds, and a disregard for the natural order, challenging the very fabric of reality. Could it be that the Skinwalkers were not merely witches, but something more ancient and powerful, a link to a forgotten past, a bridge between worlds that we are only beginning to understand? Section 6, Echoes of the Ancients, Symbols and Ruins. My search for answers led me deep into the heart of the Navajo Nation, to a remote canyon where ancient petroglyphs adorned the sandstone walls. These carvings, some dating back thousands of years, depicted strange creatures and symbols that defied easy explanation. Among them, I found images that seemed to echo the descriptions of both Skinwalkers and Nephilim. There were figures with animal heads and human bodies, their limbs twisted in unnatural positions. There were symbols that resembled eyes, glowing with an otherworldly light. These carvings were more than just art. They were a window into the past, a glimpse into the beliefs and fears of the people who came before. The Navajo elders told me that these petroglyphs were not merely decorative. They were warnings, reminders of a time when the world was a more dangerous place, when creatures of myth and legend walked the earth. Section 7, A Folklorist's Perspective, Delving into the Myths. To gain a deeper understanding of the Skinwalker legend, I sought out the expertise of Dr. Emily Carter, a renowned folklorist specializing in Native American mythology.
In Navajo culture, she said, balance and harmony are paramount. The Skinwalker represents the antithesis of these values, a being consumed by greed and the lust for power.
Dr. Carter acknowledged the widespread belief in Skinwalkers among the Navajo people, but she cautioned against interpreting these legends literally.
Myths and folklore often serve as a way for cultures to process complex emotions and fears, she explained. The Skinwalker, with its ability to shapeshift and its association with darkness, embodies the fear of the unknown, the primal terror of the predator lurking in the shadows.
Section 8, Campfire Tales, where legends and reality blur. As the night deepened and the flames of the campfire danced, I found myself drawn back to the stories of the Navajo elders. Their words, spoken with such conviction, painted vivid pictures in my mind. I could almost feel the presence of something unseen watching us from the darkness, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The line between legend and reality seemed to blur. Had I simply been caught up in the atmosphere? Or was there something more to these tales?
The Skinwalker mystery, like so many others I'd encountered in my travels, defied easy explanation. Was it possible that these creatures, so deeply ingrained in Navajo culture, were more than just folklore? Could they be remnants of an ancient race, their powers passed down through generations? Or were they, as Dr. Carter suggested, manifestations of our deepest fears, given form in the shadows of our collective unconscious?
Section 9. The unanswered question, myth or reality. As I prepared to leave the Navajo Nation, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was leaving with more questions than answers. The Skinwalker mystery remained elusive, a puzzle with missing pieces. But perhaps that was the point. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but rather to be pondered, to challenge our assumptions about the world and our place in it. As I drove away, the setting sun casting long shadows across the landscape, I couldn't help but glance back at the dense forests and rugged canyons. Somewhere out there, hidden among the shadows and whispers of the wind, the legend of the Skinwalker lived on. And whether it was rooted in myth or reality, its power to captivate and terrify was undeniable. It was a reminder that some things are best left undisturbed. Secrets hidden in the darkness, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them out.